Hello and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. In today's video, I'm going to give you an update of what I've been working on last night. There's kind of some changes in the fish room. I tried to kind of clean up and redo the divided tank, as well as set up two little retirement tanks for Samurai, who is currently my oldest fish. He is about somewhat a bit over 2 years old. I don't really know his exact age because I don't know at what age how old he was when I got him. I do know when I got him. I actually have it written down because I'm very forgetful. So he's a little over 2 years old, or 2 years old. He looks awful because at one point he got stuck in cholla wood really bad and I had to break him out, and he ripped off a ton of his scales as well as scratched up his eyes completely. So he kind of looks like a zombie fish, but he made a full recovery and he's actually doing pretty well, even though he looks quite awful. So because he did get injured, he can't really see that well. He's partially, his vision is being obstructed by the fact that he scratched up his eyes. So I think he will do a lot better in here. Now I carded him with his little neighbor, Mr. Blueberry, just so they can flare at each other right now. But usually I'm going to be fully carding them so they can kind of just relax in peace and quiet and just enjoy the little setup. This is what this looks like from the side. So, I mean, it's not the biggest setup, but for a retirement setup, I think this is adequate. He does have a filter, a lot of plants, some room to swim and have his little fish activities. I added some Indian almond leaves as well. The only thing this setup is missing is a heater, which I will add if needed. At the moment, my fish room is still staying pretty hot. Right now it is 80 degrees, which usually all the containers are 1 degree less. So if it's 80 degrees in here, then it will be about 79 degrees in the water, which I still check anyways. So I think for now this is okay. If you have a room that is more room temperature, I would recommend adding a heater. I am thinking about possibly getting some flex swap to run underneath, and maybe I can set up 2 more of these right here, or heat jars if need be. In regards to Mr. Blueberry, who's hanging out down here, he's had fin issues for a very long time. The texture of his fins, everything looks kind of like, looks kind of dry and crusty. And even though he's shared a tank with other fish and they don't have the same issues as he does, he's had this for a long time. I don't know if this is a genetic thing from poor breeding, if this is a bacterial problem. I know it's not fin rot. So what I did is I trimmed his fins again. I tend to try to avoid trimming fins unless fish absolutely need it for health purposes. But ever since I trimmed his fins last night and kind of put him in his own little setup, he has been really active. He's been moving around a lot. I think he has a much easier time swimming, and hopefully this will also encourage new growth of healthy tissue. So we'll see how he does. I think it's important that he's in his own separate setup, because when you do trim fins, there is a high likelihood that your fish can get infected. So they need to be in a setup of their own. Realistically, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend trimming fins unless absolutely necessary. So if your fish has tethery fins and they don't look so great, but your fish is healthy and doing well, let it be. Just let your fish be how it is. No fish really needs to have completely perfect finnage. So let me take a step back. So this is kind of what this looks like. The lights are on a timer. I like this. We'll see if this works out. I'll update you guys to let you know if this works or doesn't. But I think it's kind of pretty. I think it's a nice little retirement setup for these guys in particular. Now down here we have the divided tank with Arnold in the middle, as always, because Arnold steals the show. I am considering moving him to a different retirement tank, which would be a 20-gallon tall. My worry is he's not the most active fish. I mean, right now he's looking at me. He's trying to figure out what I'm doing, even though I just fed him like half an hour ago. So he knows that he's not getting fed, but he's just curious. He likes to observe you a little bit, and he likes to flare at the fish next door a little bit, but most of the time he spends a lot of time sleeping and being kind of lazy. So I don't know if, even though he's a big boy and I would love for him to enjoy a big retirement tank, I don't know if it would be better to just leave him in here where he can just, live his life in his little heated and filtered tank where he can flare at his reflection, or he's flaring at the girl next door, flaring at the fish next door, or should I put him in his own tank? That's still something I'm figuring out, but I try to match my fish to whatever tank size and tank requirements meets their personal needs. So right here, I have decided to actually keep the female from last year's spawn in the video from Wednesday. I told you guys she was going to be for sale, but I decided that I'm going to hold her back. I was talking to Amber. Amber says she has pretty good form, so I decided to keep her for future breeding. I will be selling the koi female, her sister, though, because her sister's really, really nice, but I really think that she might be a good breeder for someone else, potentially. So for now, this girl gets to be in here. I think after she spent a couple months living in the jar, I think it's finally great for her to enjoy being in a little divided tank with her little filter, and this is heated because we've got that little heater over there just in case it gets too cold, but it really doesn't. My heaters have not been turning on, but I think she's enjoying it, and Arnold's been kind of enjoying flirting with her. Over here we have Raspberry, who is living his best life. I really like him because even though he's a pet fish that I just got, for the enjoyment of having a pet, he's a really healthy guy. I have never had a single issue with him. And look, even though he was Blueberry's neighbor and they shared the same water, the same environment, they get fed the same food, look at his fins. His fins are normal and healthy and they can move around very well. Yet, for some reason, Blueberry... Oh, he's going to flare now. He's going to flare at me. Blueberry has a lot of struggles, so it's tough. I'm still learning a lot. I really want to work on improving my abilities to recognize different diseases and treating diseases and, figuring out how to tweak my husbandry to really improve the care so I can ensure that these fish live longer and healthier and happier lives. And there's still a lot for me to, improve upon and learn, but we're making progress. Oh, you're such a good boy, flaring for everyone, putting on a show. There's glare. So he's living his best life. He actually went to Aquashella with us. He was the little ambassador, and he did so well, even though he traveled and was in a different tank for a while. So he's, realistically, I kind of regret not breeding him because not really thinking about form. If I bred him, I would have bred a very healthy fish, but at the same time, you don't really have to breed all your fish. It's good to have pet fish. He's a happy pet fish, and he's got the girl next door. I don't know where she went, but he's got her to flirt with. He's got the camera and you guys to flirt with, and he's got me, so I think he's content in here. He was another candidate that I considered putting in the 20-gallon tall. I don't know. Maybe he would be happy in there, maybe not. He's a medium active guy, so he'll show up and be cute. Oh, he just bumped into his little jar. But he also spends a good amount of time resting. So let's move over here. Over here we have the koi female, the yellow koi. She was also at Aquashella, and a lot of you guys were leaving name suggestions on the Aquashella video. So I still haven't picked one, but there were a lot of great name suggestions. You can leave more suggestions in the comments down below. Oh my gosh, excuse me. She's a really cool girl. I think I would like to breed her in the future. I'm not in a hurry because I would like to see if I can find her the suitable male. If I don't find her a suitable male, then I don't necessarily have to breed her. So we'll see. Plus, I kind of like holding off on my fish for a little longer just to see what happens as they grow up, because it's until a little later when you start to see genetic problems and health problems pop up in fish, and you can really distinguish which is a healthy fish, which is not. Because you can get a fish that's got amazing form and amazing color, but might not be a very healthy fish and genetically might be carrying, certain diseases or, other issues. So sometimes it's a little better to hold back. Sometimes it's totally fine to breed young fish. It really depends case by case. Over here, it looks like there's nothing, but there actually is. There is a divider, and you see someone's peeking. That is one of the males. Oh, I can't even fit through here. This is one of the males from this year's spawn. This is the one I have decided on keeping. Because I'm worried he might be able to squeeze between the holes in the divider, because I drilled larger holes than the ones that Sheila did on the divider, which is kind of, looking back at it, a really stupid idea on my part. Because I'm not sure. He's going to be in the divider for now. I'll kind of keep him safe in here, but I figured since I'm keeping him, might as well I'll let him enjoy being here. So that's kind of what is going on in this setup. Now, we don't have any jars anywhere, actually. No jars. No jars. That is because everybody is in the bathroom. After this video, I am going to do water changes on everybody, and I wanted to put out this video first because I didn't film anything last night. So I wanted to get it out of the way. Oh, while I'm at it, I guess I could show you the Epistogramma tank. This is the tank where we have the Epistogramma cockatooides. The females are double red. I got a orange flash from one of the members of the GCCA because I have the double red male is in the spawning tank with his girlfriend. I decided to put this guy in here with these girls. I'm not necessarily worried about him spawning with them because no fry survived this tank, at least from the Epistogramma, because the females end up eating each other's fry, and then the guppies will also Guppy Endler mix over here will eat the fry as well, so I'm not particularly worried about it, but he seems to be really happy. Oh my gosh, the glare. But yeah, he seems to be really happy in here. When I put him in here yesterday, he didn't know what to do with himself. There were so many girls, because there's 6 females in here. He was just flirting with everyone. He was having the best day, because he has all the ladies, and they're all interested in him. So he's the hot new boy on the block over here with his new 6 girlfriends. And speaking of girlfriends and fish, I'm also hoping that my plecos will spawn. I've got the caves. They've been going in and out. They're very interested. I might have to kind of rearrange how the caves are set up, but we'll see. Hopefully in the future soon we shall have pleco babies. But while I'm at it, I might as well show you what is going on here. So these 2 tanks, kind of scooched over here, these 2 tanks are usually my Betta spawning tanks, but at the moment they're kind of holding tanks. I have some extra guppies in here and endlers, and I have 2 male Epistogramma. I think they're Borelli yellow. I think I'm saying that right. Now these 2, I think, are males. I'm not sure. So they're kind of in here. They're being weird with each other. Why are you so weird? Why are you swimming weirdly? You're a weirdo. So they're kind of hanging out together. What are you doing? He's like looking at him sideways. You guys are ridiculous. What are you doing? Hello, special fish. Why do you follow him around looking at him and judging him like this? You are so interesting. Hi, wiggle fish. I can't even focus on you. He's just wiggling. So this is the double red male right here. And I think they're wiggling around and being silly around him. Oh my gosh, you're so weird. I can't even focus. But there we go. Now I can can't see you again. These guys, why are you twisting your head sideways? You're adorable. But anyways, I have this guy with his girlfriend in this tank. Yesterday she was out parading her babies. She's in the back with her babies, but we've got another spawn. This time I'm hoping to grow it out now that I'm not dealing with spironucleus. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But this guy's doing well in here, hanging out with his girlfriend. And looking at the other younger Epistogramma, he's very amused. Over here, we have the same Epistogramma, but we have a male and a female group. Not group, but, a pair. And I've gave them a coconut, which they seem to be enjoying because they're going in and out. They're cave spawners, so we'll see if they spawn in this setup. It's kind of bare minimum But I also have another spawn because I have another pair of these. So I'll show you that. Let's scooch on over. Doo-doo-doo. By the way, over here we've got the Judiochromis. I'm finally adding name tags to everything so you guys can kind of see how everything is spelled. But they're doing well over here. I think that is a big female right there because females are larger than males. I've been playing around with forming cave structures for them, so hopefully eventually they will pair up and spawn soon. Just kind of playing around with things. And then let me scooch on over. This is the other setup for the epistogram. Oh, that one's eating a worm. He's got a bloodworm. So we've got another male here. He's with a female, and then I have some random guppy babies swimming around here as well. But he's being a little piggy and he's eating his worm. The female decided she really likes where is she? There's a snail. She's mostly been hanging out in here, but maybe she's finally decided she likes the cave. Maybe she's in the cave. But I've given him 2 options. They're in a 10-gallon, so they have a lot of space to kind of potentially spawn. We'll see. These are 2 different setups. I want to see if one will work over another, if both won't work, or if both will work. I might as well give you an update on Sonny. Sonny is living his best life. He's resting right now. Oh no, he's just gonna swim around. He was doing crazy laps this morning when I came in. I don't know if fish can get zoomies, but he did. He was just swimming around and living his best life. So that's kind of what his tank looks like. I kind of took out some of the fish so it's not as densely stocked anymore, so I don't have to do... What's so loud outside? Oh my goodness. So I don't have to do worry about too many frequent water changes and this being very overstocked, and he's doing well. I still haven't revealed the tank next door. That's going to be revealed very soon, but oh my gosh, Sonny, you are the best pet fish ever. You're so cute. His rays, if you can see those little bumps, that's where he broke his rays, but that's okay. He just squishes himself between things. And then lastly, before my camera dies, I ended up moving the Betta Mahachai up here. I also have a random baby Mahachai that I found, so that one is in here. But because I could never see the pair and they didn't like having a light above their tank, I decided, hey, I'll put them in here. I still have to put the saran wrap on top for them just to prevent them jumping, but you can see the male is right here, the female's right here, and so far they've been liking this setup a lot better, so they're gonna be up here. If I do end up giving them a light, it's gonna be a very small, very dim light, just for the sake of helping the plants grow. But personally, I think the window right here, which I blocked off right now so we can film better, will give the plants enough light, and I think they prefer this better. It's a little high up, and this is tank number 3, but I'm hoping this is gonna be the permanent tank. Sometimes you gotta experiment a little until you figure out what works for you. Now I'm racing against the time clock. My goodness gracious. So over here I have some Hemichromis Lafilili. I cannot pronounce the jewel reds. I cannot. I have those and some guppies in here. I will have to separate if I get a spawning pair soon because they will try to murder everyone in this tank, but this is my temporary holding tank for them. And then I might as well give an update on everybody. This is the 20-gallon long with the ocellatas. I ended up adding the male guppies in here. The ocellatas are doing well. This guy in here in the middle right there is a butt. He claimed the entire tank for himself. He's buried all these shells, made little mounds. These are all his shells. He does not want to share. Poor Bob can't claim his own shell because this guy's a butt. So I might have to divide this tank because this one is kind of too mean. Surprisingly, they get along with the guppies. They leave the guppies alone, which is weird. But I think I'm finally winning the battle with the algae because I ended up putting a lot of plants on top. Then over here, nothing interesting is happening with the 55. Just still have my electric yellows and then my little red zebra and then some plecos in here. We'll see what we'll do with this tank, but for now I'm kind of okay with the way it is. Super secret setup. I'm going to show you that in the future. And then the multis. Multis are here. They're doing well. They were building a pyramid of Giza earlier, but I kind of moved it so I can see them again. But they're doing okay. Nothing too exciting is happening in this tank, but one day I need to do a time lapse so that I can kind of highlight how these guys are doing, because they're so awesome. I mean, if you look at this tank, this looks like a boring tank, but these are some of the most fun fish to observe. Focus, because they like to rearrange a tank however they seem fit. So they're super cool fish. I hope that you enjoyed this update. There's 2 secret tank setups that I will be showing you guys in the future, and maybe by the time this video comes out, I'll be hitting 50,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh, will it happen? Oh, so excited, so excited.